Greetings gastronauts, this is KeefCooks, I'm Keef, and today I'm going to show you how to do genuine, original, authentic Bolonese sauce and also some homemade Tagliatelle. Like many traditional recipes, there are variations according to how your grandma makes it. But I wanted to try this because it's so different from what us Brits do when we do spag bol. It's enormously different. So I've got to do it. And you can't have Bolognese sauce without some pasta. And yeah, it's about time I did some homemade pasta in it. So let's do it. Ingredients for the sauce, or the ragu. I've got 450 grams of minced beef, about 50 grams of bacon, an onion, a couple of small carrots, and some celery that's seen better days. I've also got 125 mils of red wine, 125 mils of milk, and about 100 mils of tomato passata, and 50 grams of butter. And no, I don't need that yet. Passata, I just generally always have this around. You can use tomato puree, in which case you'd use about half that quantity. And the meat, sometimes it's a mix of beef and pork, and the bacon, that's, you know, I haven't got pancetta or prosciutto or guanciale, I don't know. Anyway, I haven't got it. So how this differs from British bol sauce. First of all, there's no beef stock. Secondly, there is milk, which is astoundingly unusual. I've never come across that before. And also the carrot and celery you wouldn't normally use. And there's no herbs, there's no basil. What is going on? Anyway, I'm sure it'll be wonderful, so let's get going. You need to chop your onion, celery and carrot quite fine, like that. And then we want to pick all these bits up and then chop the bacon into little pieces as well. Okay, so you want a big heavy bottomed pot and some heat, and we'll just throw the bacon in. So there's no oil or fat or anything in the pan. That will magically appear as we cook the bacon. Now we'll add the meat, the mince. Just break that up. So your mince really should be about 15-20% fat. You don't want it too lean. So as it's cooking, the meat will release quite a lot of moisture, and you just want to keep on cooking that till that's all evaporated, but keep stirring it. Well, stir it now and again so it doesn't stick. Okay, that's kind of dry, so we'll just tip that out into a bowl and turn the heat down to low. Pop the butter in, swizz that around till it's melted, and then pop the vegetables in. Give them a good stir, get them all coated in butter, and then pop the lid on and just let that sweat for about 10 minutes. Okay, ooh, that smells good. Now you need to add your tomato passata or puree. I'm amazed that this is an Italian dish that doesn't actually use tons and tons of real tomatoes, but I guess they know what they're doing. So I'll stir that in. We can turn the heat up a bit now and pop the meat back in and the vino. So now turn the heat up on full and let that boil vigorously for a couple of minutes. This is essentially to boil off the alcohol. And now, the crazy bit. Put the lid on, turn it down low as it'll go, and simmer it for 3 hours. No more, no less, 3 hours. What are you going to do in the meantime? You're going to make pasta. Ingredients for your pasta: you want 400 grams of flour, 4 eggs, a half teaspoon of salt, and a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, EVU. Now the flour ideally is Tipo 00 or type 00 or pasta flour, which is what this is. It's very, very finely ground. If you can't get it, you can use plain white all-purpose flour. I've done that before and it works just fine, but this will give you, you know, a slightly smoother pasta. Just pop your half teaspoon of salt in with the flour, give that a good stir. Then break your eggs into a bowl and just give those a good old whisk. Get the yolks broken and the whites and yolks mixed together, like that. And then pour that in with the flour, add the tablespoon of evu, and stir that till it all comes together. Now I've just got a sheet of fairly thick plastic on this oak worktop because, you know, the oak worktop looks great, but it's a bit rustic. So we just need to work this until we get a nice ball of pasta dough. And this is where you find out why Italian nonnas have forearms like Popeye, because this is hard work, it really is. I guess if you have an industrial strength stand mixer and dough hook, you could do this quite easily, but I don't. We want the dough to be nice and smooth, and it's not there yet, but we'll get there. Okay, it could possibly do with a bit longer, but I just haven't got the energy. So wrap that in plastic film, pop it in the fridge to rest for half an hour, while I also rest for half an hour. Flipping heck. And all you need to do now is unwrap your pasta dough. Just work on half of it at a time and whiz it through your pasta machine till you get nice thin sheets, you know, about 1 millimetre. Yeah, here's my pasta machine. I did have a real one, but it broke about the second time I used it, actually. I wasn't impressed. Right, we're getting there. We're not there yet, but just keep at it. If you have a pasta machine, you probably know how to work it. You just put the dough through on a wide setting and then progressively reduce the distance between the rollers on each pass, and eventually, well, quite quickly, you get very thin sheets. But doing it by hand isn't quite that simple. Actually, I've discovered that if you cut a smaller strip, you can roll it out more thinly, but be careful you don't crease it. It's all to do with friction on the worktop, I think, but I don't want to add any oil or flour because that would change the consistency of the pasta itself. Well, what an idiot I am. Is it not written? We live and we learn. Look at this. So it's, you know, it's level across there, but nothing but fresh air between the middle of the board and the bottom of the rolling pin. So that is not a happening thing, really. Looks like a job for the really big chopping board. There we go. Isn't as pretty as the oak, but it's flatter. Yeah, flat as a flat thing, that. So, okay, that's about as thin as I can get it, really. I would like it a tad thinner, but I would also like it today. So, right. So now you want to, oh, it feels lovely and silky and smooth. Just roll it up into a big roll and cut it into strips or ribbons. They want to be about 10 millimetres wide, that's about just under ½ inch. So there we have tagliatelle. And basically you want to kind of rig up your rolling pin somehow above the work surface and hang them up to dry. They don't want to dry completely, but just hang them up till you're ready to use them. Okay, tagliatelle hanging up and drying, and oh, please somebody get me a pasta machine. And 3 hours on the clock have elapsed for the ragu, and we have this one final mystery ingredient, milk, to add. And I just don't know. I've never, you know, I would never put milk in a dish like this. But there we go. And now that needs to cook for another 40 minutes. Very, very low, because you don't want to curdle the milk. Let's have a sneaky taste. I've earned it. That's nice. Possibly needs some salt, but I won't put that in until the end. Right, we're done. 3 hours and 40 minutes. Oh my. That is lush. That's fantastic. Okay, that's pretty wonderful. So you can eat it straight away or leave it a day or two and it will improve immeasurably. Honest, it will. But yeah, we're going to eat it. Right, I've got a load of water at a rolling boil. It's got a teaspoon of salt in it, and I'm just going to pop my tagliatelle in. And normally with fresh pasta you cook it for 3 or 4 minutes, but because this is somewhat thicker than it should have been, I might have to cook it for longer. You can tell, you know, when it's cooked because it's al dente, meaning if you press a bit against the side of the pan with a fork, there'll be a bit of resistance. Okay, that's cooked. It's way too thick, but I've just had a taste and it's pretty good. So I need to drain that off. I just add a knob of butter to the pan. I've got this on very low heat now. Then add the tagliatelle. Give that a good stir and get it all coated. Now add some of the ragu. Stir that in so all the pasta is coated in the ragu. And that's it. Dish it up and eat it. Yay! Right, ready for a taste test. And look, it appears to be Christmas. Is that my little elf? Hello.
Hi, darling.
Mrs. KeefCooks! Dinner. That's mine. That's yours.
Have you made this?
Yeah. You can't buy tagliatelle this thick and fat.
See, if I'd said that, you'd have got upset.
I'm not upset. But, you know, pasta machine.
I bought you one and you broke it.
So I need another one.
Oh, it tastes nice. So if you can just roll that pasta a bit thinner, that'd be marvellous.
Well, I can't.
I know.
I need the machine. Anyway, what do you think of the sauce? The ragu.
Nice. I like that.
Weird, isn't it?
No, it's nice. It's just you need to have a smaller piece of pasta with it. A bit mingy with the sauce this time, isn't you?
Well, there's more. But it's supposed to be not big dollops of sauce. It's, you know, stirred through the pasta and sticks to the pasta.
Oh,
That's
right. Oh, well,
what it's all
big
about.
dollops of sauce.
Okay, you can have that later. Right then.
Get a pasta machine.
Here we go. Bye. And that's that. I hope you enjoyed it. Now please do the usual: likes, shares, comments, subscriptions, donations, patronage, all that good stuff. Or just some of it. And thank you for watching and see you next time.